got a guest in studio, and we're talking about an issue that, I'll put it this way, we thought it might be over with several months ago, but there's constant issues when it comes to really protecting the people of the Magic Valley. Bill Colley with you this morning on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. And I'm joined in studio by Jason Friedman from the Rock Creek Fire District, is the way it's pronounced, right?
Correct.
District is different than a department because of the scope of what it does and those types of things, right?
Yes, absolutely. We don't cover just one particular municipality. We cover all the municipalities within our district.
Yours is like 100 miles square.
It's 212 square miles.
Wow. I mean, so you're talking, I mean, most of this county and this valley, but in some respects.
Yeah, all of eastern Twin Falls County.
And there's always a need, obviously, for people to get behind what you're doing. That's why you're here again today.
Absolutely.
So what do you have going on?
Well, we're trying for our levy increase again. It was falsely reported this last time that it had passed. We came very close, but it did not pass. We got 64% of the vote, but we needed a supermajority of 66 and 2/3.
And there was some concern, I know, at the time that you said because you were also at one time on the ballot with another unpopular measure, that the people who were coming out, obviously, to vote against that just went straight down the line and no, 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 right? And so they may have overlooked the fact that you have some needs.
That's possible. Like I said, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth or tell and say why somebody voted one way or another. But certainly it was an unpopular item and probably didn't contribute to our success at all.
So you have another opportunity. Are the voters have another opportunity?
Yes. Yep. November 8th, we'll be putting that. It'll be a ballot item.
For people out there who wonder, why you need to do this, tell them a little bit about what it is that you do. I mean, what the district does, what your people do, and what will happen if you don't have it.
Sure. Well, we're an all hazards district, which means we provide protection for structure fires, wildland fires, hazmat, vehicle extrication, emergency medical response, and we also have a technical rescue capabilities as well. So, as what we're seeing though is our district has grown very rapidly over the
Mm-hmm.
last 4 or 5 years, and uh, along with that has come a significant increase in our call volume. So we're up, I think, 25% in call volume from what we were 5 years ago.
I drive around enough to see all of these new developments going up. That alone, plus new businesses. We have some massive new businesses that have moved into the area. So you've got some responsibilities there too, obviously. But just the housing developments have greatly changed the game.
Oh, absolutely. Modern building construction presents new challenges for firefighting operations as well. So it's not just legacy homes that we're dealing with anymore. It's these modern homes that burn faster and hotter.
I know that there's an effort, at least in some of these, to put more vinyl siding on because, as somebody once told me, it will burn out and vent more quickly. But if somebody wants a high-end home, they're not going with vinyl. So you've got a challenge there because they're going to have a really hot box if they get a fire going.
Absolutely. Yes, they're well insulated, so they retain heat a lot longer. They don't vent out as quickly.
For people who are living in the district, I mean, this is what's Murtaugh. I mean, some of the areas that will be affected. What are they?
Kimberly, Hanson, Murtaugh, and everywhere in between. We cover all the way up south to the Magic Mountain Ski Resort and to the Canyon Rim, and then over to 3300 East, right by Chobani.
Most people are never really aware of what happens though until they have a need, and that's probably why a lot of people need some convincing.
That could be. I know for myself, I've had to call 911 before, and certainly, probably during the course of just about anybody's lifetime, at some point, they're going to need that service.
Penny Main stopped you in the hallway before you came in here, and I didn't quite hear everything she was saying, but there's something as well she wanted you to mention while you were in studio.
We can talk about that
Oh,
afterwards.
okay. It was not related then to the
No.
to the segment. I was trying to catch what she was saying, and I missed out on it for a moment. What would people pay? I mean, this is what it comes down to because we do have a mood in the country, obviously, where people feel that perhaps they're already paying too much when it comes to services and taxes. What would be the actual average change for most people?
Well, the variables are so huge that it's impossible to nail down a specific number. But the best average I can give you is for a home with a value of about $150,000. They'd probably pay an additional $5 a month through this increase in taxes.
Which may not, impress people too much until they actually have that fire in the kitchen someday.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden it's going to change their minds. And unfortunately, most people don't ever go through that. So, this creates a challenge
Sure,
to
it
convince them to come out.
sure, but it really is cheap insurance, in my mind. And one of the points that I'd like to drive home to is that I live in the district as well. I'm not exempt from it, so it's going to affect me as well. And so certainly I wouldn't be promoting it if I didn't see the need.
Anything, we got about 30 seconds. Anything else that we didn't mention that you think really people need to focus on?
Uh, Through the services that we've been able to provide over the last 4 or 5 years since we went full time, we've been able to do significant changes to our district, including ISO ratings drop, which has helped homeowners with their insurance premiums.
Can you actually stick around through the next segment? It's about under
Absolutely.
5 minutes. I mean, I know that you may have some business to take care of today, but I've got a couple of questions too, because when you reference that, we've had to, in many places, switch to paid services or the growth in that. We can talk a little bit about that too, as well, because if people aren't aware of that, it's something that really is important to drive home that there's a reason that's happening and there's a need for it. We've got more coming up with Jason Freeman, and of course, he's representing the Rock Creek Fire District. You're listening to News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. And gosh, we're up to 36. We started out at 25, so that's an improvement. Our studio guest is Jason Freeman. He's joining us from the Rock Creek Fire District. And of course, he's pointing out there is going to be a ballot measure on November 8th. And they are seeking an increase because, frankly, it just simply costs more money to do the job that they're doing because the job itself has changed and it's grown. And as he pointed out, the population's grown. That means we have more businesses and more housing structures in the area, and the overall responsibilities have been greatly changed. It's 8:34 or 9:34, excuse me. Bill Colley with you on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. And if you have a comment or question for Jason, you can get in touch with us at 736-0300. That's 736-0300. And we're at 36 right now. We were talking off air a little bit about the fact that I shared that my cousin is he's been a chief 3 times now in his life of smaller departments because they're so small. Guys end up being chief a lot. I mean, in the rotation. But he was telling me that the pressures that they're under, and even some of these smallest communities, because the old days when every town had a manufacturing facility and the like, and Main Street was busy, you could always find people who were volunteers to come out and fight a fire in the middle of the day. But so many factories closed in so many of these towns, and Main Streets, the big box stores put Main Street out of business, and sometimes people are working 15, 20 miles away or even 50 miles away. So if you have a fire alarm goes off at 11:30 in the morning, there's nobody there sometimes at the firehouse. So more and more, even smaller districts and departments are having to bring in paid staff because you need somebody there 24/7.
Absolutely. For us, we're staffed Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. What we'd like to do though with this levy is increase our personnel so that we can provide a service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So there'll always be somebody there available to answer that call. Another thing that's important to point out is that the response time is after those staffed hours are
Right.
almost twice as long.
And you're sometimes having people, if they're a volunteer, they're responding, maybe they're on one end of the district and they've got to go to the other end of the district. And we all know the hazards you're going. You've got cattle that are grazing sometimes, and they're wandering the roads. You got to get around those issues. You've got a lot of dirt roads. We've got winding roads. Any number of things come in there, and unfortunately, somebody could be an hour getting from one end of the county to the other, or not county but district to the other.
Yeah, it could take a significant amount of time, and especially if we have to go up to the South Hills. That particular run takes quite a while.
Now, for people too out there who need a little bit maybe more detail on this, you were telling me also off air that the science of putting out a fire, for instance, has so greatly changed that it's unlike the days when you just went out, turned on the hoses, and put a lot of water on it.
Sure, building construction is huge. We have to know how they're built, why they're built the way they are. Modern construction tends to cause fires that are hotter and they burn quicker. So the amount of time that we have to get there and respond and actually really affect a difference is reduced significantly.
And so more and more, we're going to have demands for professionals who are actually getting a paycheck in benefits because they're going to have all the background in that scientific research.
Correct.
We haven't even, I think, started to realize the direction we're going here. But the other part of this too is, and you were explaining to me off air that unlike certain parts of the country, it is so dry here. Where I grew up, you might have a pasture fire and it might burn 2 or 3 acres. If it burned beyond that, it was rare. And it's a very moist part of the country too. But here, I think we had a quarter inch of rain all summer. And so just a little bit of a spark could end up, taking out, hundreds and hundreds of acres, if not square miles of the district.
Oh, absolutely. Our district, or in Idaho, really in general, is just full of light, flashy fuels, and it's such a dry area that it doesn't take long for a fire to really get ripping and can just wipe out hundreds of thousands of acres. Either aren't uncommon anymore.
In fact, when I was first living here, and I remember being on Blue Lakes Boulevard, and I was going across a bridge. It had been a windy day, and what happened was all of these, what we'd call in the old days, tumbleweeds, all the sage had piled up. It looked like a Tribbles convention from Star Trek. But that's all dry tinder. I mean, that's blowing around out there, and if that's it by the end of summer, even if it's still attached to the ground, it's going to go up really fast.
Oh, absolutely.
I was going to say for people who'd like to know a little bit more, uh, any opportunity for them to come out and hear more, or where would you send them?
Absolutely. They can visit our website. It's rockcreekfiredistrict.org. We'll have some information on there. We have a Facebook page. Certainly, they're welcome to come and speak with us right there at the fire station. We'd be happy to answer any questions there. Also, we have a commissioners meeting each month, second Thursday of each month at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if anybody wants to come and visit us there, they're welcome to.
So, well, that'll be tomorrow night,
Tomorrow, tomorrow morning at
tomorrow morning.
9
Okay.
a.m. Yep.
Okay. And very, very quickly, where are you located at? Where's the main, I should say, because there's multiple station houses, but where are you mainly located?
It's our station one is at 1559 Main Street North in Kimberly.
All right. Hey, I want to thank you for coming by, and I wish you good luck with this. I know this has been a tough one to crack the last year, but you're getting closer each time.
Yes, we are. We're very optimistic, cautiously optimistic.
Jason Freeman joining us in studio, and we've got a short break coming up, and then some closing thoughts for the day. It is 35, and it's 20 minutes away from 10 o'clock on KLIX.